Hi. All right. So, welcome to the Uncolored channel. My name is Kevin Metcalf. And before I get into some of the more specific things that I'll be doing or discussing on the channel, I think it's important to give you an overview of the general basic idea. Although it's not something that, incomprehensible, because listen, I'm not that smart and I figured it out. So, or I think I figured it out. Maybe I haven't. But there's just too much to go into at this moment. So I'm just going to give you a basic sketch of the idea, this big idea thing that I call it. So the big idea goes like this. Everything we understand about the world, about society, the ideas we have, politics, science, society, whatever it is, there are no new ideas. Everything that you ever need to know about the world, reality, life in general, everything's already been written. Everything's already been said. Any of these ideas that, hey, we're a new society and we've evolved and things are different now and we're changing, all a bunch of BS. Everything that we discuss, we wrestle with, all of these issues have been going on since the beginning of time. Just different dressing now, different, fluff. So here are the two ideas. I think that everything that we understand come down to these two ideas, and here are the two ideas. The first idea is this, that there is this agency that has these properties. This agency has maximal power, maximal perfection, maximal knowledge, and has necessary existence. And what that means is it is impossible that this agency could not have existed. That's eternal existence, basically. Now, what I'm describing is best known as our concept of God, but this is a very specific understanding, and I think theism best sketches out what I believe is the first idea. Now, this agency is the source of everything that has a beginning. So anything that began to exist finds its source in this agency that I've just described. And anything that continues to exist only exists because of the power of this agency that I described. Now, that's the first idea. It's a very controversial idea. Scientists, philosophers of all different areas have challenged it, supported it, and there's no end to the books written on the topic. I'm simply saying that's the first idea. Now, the second idea is a little bit easier. The second idea simply states this: the first idea isn't true. That's it. In any concept, any idea, any system that you'll find that denies that the first idea is true will manifest itself in a certain way. And that's really the bottom of this big idea that I have. It's looking at different ideas, whether it be political, social, whatever, and seeing if it really makes sense. And so far, I by no means have looked at everything, but everything that I looked at so far, and I've been looking at this thing for a few years now, I've yet to find anything that doesn't submit to this particular theory. So that's a bit abstract. Let me be a little bit more concrete with this idea. So what are some of the ideas that we all believe are true, that in my opinion, or at least as I understand it, can only be found in this first idea? And here are some of the things. Freedom and liberty. Those are two things that can only exist if the first idea is true. Human rights, morality, ultimate purpose, free will. Those are concepts that I think most of us believe are true or real features of reality. But if the first idea isn't true, there is no logical grounding for these things. Okay? So by inference, what I'm saying is, if the second idea is true, then these things that I've just talked about don't really exist. And many assert that very thing, that because God doesn't exist, free will, human rights, morality, free will, those are just illusions. Because according to the second idea, we're just a bunch of meat bags being controlled by various synapses. And we're not even aware of what we're doing. It just happens normally. So, just with that alone, these concepts that we understand are true have very different ways of understanding depending on which idea that you subscribe to. Now, there are people who go, listen, I don't believe in God, but I think there's free will. Unfortunately, you won't be able to link that to your belief. There will be some point at which logically it just doesn't make sense. And we'll get into that in later podcasts, because while I'm asserting these things, it's just a sketch, and we'll get into detail much later. So what are some of the ideas that can be grounded in the second idea? Okay. Politically speaking, Marxism. Marxism is an idea that really is a child of the second idea. It's the religion of the second idea, in my opinion. And again, not just my opinion. Socialism, communism, any totalitarian regime, authoritarianism in itself. These are all second ideas. And the reason is that because people who subscribe to the second idea believe that there is no God, they then take it upon themselves to play the role of God. And you can see this today in this COVID mess. You know, you've got certain governors of certain states, like here in California, Chicago, New York, where, listen, they're straight up authoritarians. We're locking you down. You can't go to church. You can't meet with your friends. We're shutting down restaurants. We're going to make all the decisions for you for your own good, and we really don't care what you think about it. That's a second idea philosophy. Okay. First idea philosophy is a little bit different, right? In Florida, they're like, listen, here's the information, here's the data. You guys go out and make the best decisions you can, right? If you want to go out there and risk whatever it is, you're a free person. You go do what you want to do. If you don't, stay inside and hide. Because one of the things that the first idea asserts is that individuals, because they're free, are the best way for people to make decisions. So free individuals will make ultimately good decisions for themselves. Okay? Even though we don't do that all the time, generally speaking, that's what the first idea asserts. Second idea is different. The second idea believes that there's only a group of the elite who should make decisions for everybody else. Because the second idea thinks that you as an individual are either stupid or you're going to get in their way. So the second idea tends to lead to authoritarian rule. Not always, because you can point out religions that had very strong authoritarian rule, and they purport to believe in the first idea, but I'll show you why that doesn't necessarily work out that way. But again, later podcasts. Here's another idea. Free market principle. Free markets is based on the idea, again, that individuals are the best way to exchange goods and service. The best way for that to happen is at the individual level. Okay? The second idea disagrees. Second idea says that no, it should be a top-down system, that, again, a group of elites, whether that be academic, political, intellectual, whatever it is, we're going to make all those decisions for you, and we really don't care what you think about it. And you can see how that plays out. We've got 100 years of socialism and Marxism, and you can see how just it's cancer to any economic system. So that's just a brief sketch of why I think this theory has merit. Again, early days, I could be wrong. There's a lot of things I haven't thought of, and I'm kind of an idiot. So there's all kinds of ways this can go wrong. But there are a lot of people who, everybody else says is very smart, who not explicitly support this idea. I have yet to hear it out there necessarily. Not to say that it isn't. I just haven't heard it out there yet. But the individual systems or ideas that we're going to talk about say pretty much the same thing that I'm saying. So Thanks for tuning in. We'll get into these things in more detail later, but I think it's very important to understand that however you understand this, and again, I want to make it clear, while we'll be talking about God a lot, because I do think that the first idea is true. I subscribe to the first idea. I haven't been to church in 25 years, and I don't plan on going next week. So this isn't some sort of a thing to get people to go to church or to believe whatever it is. You're going to believe whatever you want to believe, and I'm not the one to tell you you should believe different. That's not what this is about. This is simply to honestly explore why we understand the things we do and why we understand them the way we do. That's all this is. So hopefully you'll find it interesting. We'll be discussing some contemporary issues, but I tend not to listen. I don't watch the news, and I think that it's a mistake to, again, understand the world like that through the news. But obviously, there'll be some contemporary issues that we'll be talking about, just so that you can understand how this idea seems to work. Thanks for listening. I'm Kevin Metcalf, and this has been Uncolored.